Report. And a news conference going on right now at LAPD headquarters.
Eric Mayor Garcetti at the podium, flanked by The Game, rappers The Game, and Snoop Dogg, and also Chief Charlie Beck. We do want to listen in.
Lose those titles for a moment. To try to remind ourselves of the pain that we feel in the events that we've seen this week. We just had an extraordinarily powerful meeting. One in which walls came down, boundaries and barriers didn't exist, and for a moment we grieved commonly for the lives that have been lost. The lives that were lost in Dallas of 5 officers who, as you'll hear, some of our brothers and sisters here reminded us that police officers are human beings. The parents, their mothers and fathers who kiss their children goodbye. And there are spouses and children who today don't have their parents coming home. And that pain is something that we feel in too many parts of America where violence has visited, where somebody wonders whether they might lose their life with the mother of their child and their child in the car at the same time. We might ask where we look for moments of hope and for light. I have to say, we had folks that were coming down here today to express their pain, and they didn't know that we had a police graduation. And sometimes God works in mysterious ways, but they witnessed our newest class of brave angels, people who graduated from high schools in South Los Angeles and the East Side and the San Fernando Valley. Probably have connections and have seen firsthand violence, maybe even lost in their family. People just as we have up here. And the power of this moment is to ask what we do with it. Whether we as a country come together and figure out that common ground, whether we burn bridges down or whether we build them up. I have tremendous hope today that we can be in Los Angeles, a city that sets the pace, not just for this country, but for the world, that tells our stories, that says our songs, that writes our poems, that people look to, that this can be a city where we breathe some hope back into this country and into our democracy. To do the difficult work of continuing to make our promise in America work for everyone. A policing that is accountable and transparent, that de-escalates and saves lives and protects them. And a recognition that those 5 officers who were killed last night were doing just that, protecting our democracy. The mother who wrapped her arms around her teenage boy to protect him when the shots rang out, and who got a bullet in her body as she laid in the hospital praying for the recovery of the police officers who were there to protect her right to do that. We know how to disagree in this country. We know how to fight in this country. We know how to yell in this country, and we certainly know how to divide in this country. That's the easy work. But I call in our city and in our country on us to do the difficult work of learning that behind a badge there's a person and a family and a story, and that behind a young person on the street there's a story as well, and that all of us will only solve this cycle of violence if we do the hard work of making sure that the violence ends. It has to stop. Enough is enough today. So we are here also to answer the questions of the press. Brevemente también en español yo quiero decir que este es un momento para nuestra ciudad y nuestro país. Encontrar la paz, el amor, las cosas que son las fundaciones de este país. Juntos, miembros, ex-miembros de pandillas aquí con oficiales del Departamento de Policía. I just said in Spanish, we have people who themselves have been gang members standing next to police officers. Think about the power of that for a moment. That if we can, on the streets, say that peace and love is the only way forward, the lives that we can save, lives we will never quantify. Pero es tiempo a encontrar la humanidad de nuestro país y esta ciudad, en la ciudad de Los Angeles. Let me turn over to Chief Beck to say a few things, and I'm going to open up to our friends to say a couple other things too. Chief Beck.
Well, first, thank you all for being here. I stand here with my partners in public safety in Los Angeles. It doesn't look like my usual public safety press conference, does it? It's not. We are two violent a society, violence begets violence. It is time to put down our arms and start the dialogue. We have to go forward from today as human beings, as Americans, as partners. Put aside the things that divide us and come together on the things that bind us. Our desire to leave Los Angeles a better place than we found it. Our mutual desire to have our kids grow up in a place where they cannot expect violence at every turn. To have policing that is respectful, that is protective, that is a true partner. I couldn't be prouder to stand in front of you today and say that we are on that path in Los Angeles. But it's going to take everybody. It's going to take leadership, and it's going to take hard work. Too many times America is divided now. We have got to find the things that bind us. And that we can all find that in public safety and in making this a better place for our kids. Now is that time. We must not repeat the mistakes of our recent past. Thank you all. I want to thank the game and Snoop for coming down with the Nation of Islam to have a dialogue with Los Angeles Police Department and the mayor about keeping Los Angeles safe, about the fact that this is a great city, that we are making progress, but we will not get to where we need to be unless we do it holding hands and working together. All of us, every one of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Now I'd like to ask the game to come forward to say some things. We had a discussion inside about hearing each other and feeling each other and understanding this moment. And I want to thank him for his courage coming down here today, marching alongside fellow Angelinos to be here in support of peace, to be here in support of love, and to find some common ground of work together. Please welcome the game.
Thank you, Mayor, everyone in this room. I just want to say that when I woke up this morning, I was uneasy. I was saddened, I was angered. I had so many different emotions flowing through my body that I didn't know which way to turn or which way to go. So I called on a dear friend of mine, somebody that I look up to, somebody that empowers everything that I wish to empower in the future. Not knowing if I ever would, but someone I look up to in Snoop Dogg, and we had a conversation days prior to everything that's taking place, just on how we can better our communities from just Long Beach to Compton, and then hoping it would, spiral out to the neighboring cities, the Linwoods and the East LAs and Inglewoods and, other poverty-stricken neighborhoods from, Long Beach all the way into the valley. I never knew when I walked out of my door that I would run into Chief Beck or Mayor Garcetti or be in front of all these cameras today. But one thing that I did know is that I didn't leave out of my house this morning with malice in my heart, with hate in my heart, or with anger towards anyone, police officer or not. I know for a fact, growing up here in Los Angeles, in this city for the last 36 years of my life, that this is a city, a beautiful city, a city that can be one, that was one, and that can get back to being one. We all have children who we love. We all have families who we love. We all are children who are loved. And I think that without delegating something needs to be done for African Americans, or something needs to be done for Latinos, or something needs to be done for Caucasians or Asians or any other races that exist in this city, I think that we need to take responsibility as a human race and accept the role as peace givers and people that distribute love and change throughout this city. And I know for a fact And history will reflect that Los Angeles has been the flagship for negativity or positivity, and that the rest of the world and the rest of the cities and communities and states in America will follow suit with whatever Los Angeles is doing. And that's not to knock anybody else's strive for peace or anything, or any other body of law enforcement or any politicians worldwide. I'm just saying that this is a strong city that I'm from, that we embody as all races and different ranks, from the gangs in the streets to basketball coaches, to teachers, to law enforcement, to mayors, to politicians, to cameramans, to the list goes on. I know that together that we can unify Los Angeles, and that will in change help unify other states and cities and communities that are poverty stricken, and help people see us as a human race in a different light. While I got all these cameras on me and I'm in a room full of people who are listening and who will go back to their respective media outlets and share this with the world, I want to tell everyone that has their eyes on me that I love you, no matter what race you're from, no matter where you come from, no matter what gang you're from or what police force you stand for, what badge you put on, what school you teach, whoever you are in the world. If you are a human being and you have ears and eyes to see, this is a day of change. Respect it, understand it, love it, embrace yourself with positivity.
Snoop Dawson?
Yes, sir.
Snoop Dogg.
First of all, I want to thank
All right, you're now
Chief
listening
for
to
allowing us
Snoop Dogg as he's making comments, but we just heard the game.
Very powerful words.
Very powerful, calling for unity and calling on Los Angeles basically to be a light to the rest of the nation and the world when it comes to bringing people
To
together.
lead by example, no question.
All right, we also heard from Mayor Eric Garcia.